All right, so we've come to the last speaker of this round of the junior speakers. She's part here from actually Mount Sinai, also from the DPAC. And then there's Agrima Srivastava. She's a senior scientist at Mount Sinai, as I said, and she's worked as a before that as a postdoctoral researcher in the Department of Psychiatry at the Icahn School of Medicine. She completed her PhD in computer science, which is her main area of expertise in machine learning and natural languages processing. She's been working with Dr. Cheryl Corcoran and Dr. Guillermo Cecchi from Mount Sinai and IBM respectively. And she's working especially on the understanding of speech and language to classify patients and to predict prognosis. So thank you very much, and please take it away.
Hi everyone, good morning. I'm so glad to be presenting my work here. So today I'm going to talk about leveraging natural language processing and artificial intelligence for characterization of clinical high-risk. And it's a very broad topic, and we have done a lot of things under this umbrella. So I'm going to specifically take you through our recent work on linguistic correlates of suicidal ideation in youth at clinical high-risk for psychosis. So let's discuss about suicidal ideation. Suicidal ideation in clinical high-risk. Suicidal ideation are thoughts of killing oneself. And in CHR individuals, the prevalence of death by suicide is 1.25%. Suicidal behavior occurs in almost 20% of individuals. And the percentage of recent suicidal ideation ranges from 25 to 45%. We are having an issue with the header, so I will just read it out so that's clear. So yeah, there have been previous studies of suicidal ideation in CHRs, which have focused on symptoms, depression, substance abuse, and childhood trauma. But very few studies have used the CSSRS, which is the Columbia Suicide Severity Rating Scale. What is the difference between any other scale and CSSRS is that CSSRS captures the broad spectrum of ideation, unlike the other scale, which captures the binary response, yes or no for ideation. And for example, this is a study done by Bill et al. In 2015, where in their cohort, the ideation ranged from wish to be dead to non-specific active suicidal thoughts, suicidal ideation without intent to act, suicidal ideation with some intent, without specific plan, suicidal ideation with plan and intent. So there is a need to basically look at what people say and what they talk. So because that can also act as a clue to identify the warning signs for suicidal risk. And that's also been identified by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, that it's important to look at what people are saying. So therefore, we need to analyze their spoken language, and natural language processing is a way to do that. So using natural language processing or NLP, we can develop algorithms or techniques that enables computers to understand and interpret human language. And there has been a meta-analysis done in the past by Homan et al. It's a very recent paper, where they have looked at tons of studies ranging from depression, anxiety, and electronic health records, where they have studied how people have studied NLP with suicidal ideation, and all the text in these studies mostly came from poetry or social media text, or had like limited spoken language. And most of these studies, they link suicidal ideation with the use of more words associated with words like anger, sadness, loneliness, and stress, and also increased usage of personal pronouns like I. So we have studies in suicidal ideation, CHR, NLP. We also have studies in the intersection of all the three, but this is where the main gap is. So in the best of our knowledge, we are the first ones who are using natural language processing to characterize suicidal ideation in high-risk individuals. This brings us to the goal of the study. And we hypothesize two things here. One is we want to look at the emotional content of the spoken language to measure how similar the words used by CHR individuals with recent ideation are similar to words like anger, sadness, loneliness, and stress. And the second hypothesis, we want to look at more usage of personal pronouns. We also wanted to do some exploratory analysis where we wanted to look at other patterns of speech associated with recent suicidal ideation group. And these are the methods, and it's a standard protocol that we follow here in schizophrenia. We do SOPS, we do CSSRS, we have open-ended interviews, which get transcribed by a HIPAA compliant service that is no transcribing. Then the text that we obtain from these transcriptions then is pre-processed and goes to a standard NLP pipeline where we convert it to lowercase, we remove the punctuation, we expand the contractions, etc. And then we do further analysis. So this is the cohort that we have. So there were 43 CHRs, out of which 10 had recent suicidal ideation and 33 did not. When I say recent suicidal ideation, it means that they had these ideation thoughts in the past month. And both of these groups, they were similar in age, race, ethnicity, symptoms, and they differed only in sex. That's why all our analyses are connected for sex. So moving on to the first hypothesis, where we wanted to look at the semantic similarity, we used something called the Go emotion dataset. So the header says using the Go emotion dataset. What is a Go emotion dataset? It's basically a training data that consists of 58,000 Reddit comments, where all of these Reddit posts are humanly annotated with emotion, with the predominant emotion that's in them. For example, if the statement is, "Oh my God, that is a fine answer, thank you so much." So the predominant emotions here are excitement, approval, gratitude. So we have human annotators who have manually annotated this with certain positive, negative, and ambiguous emotions. So we have these predefined set of emotions that you see on the screen. Now, once we get this data, we then put it to BERT. BERT is basically bidirectional encoder representation from transformers. It's a large language model, very similar to ChatGPT that you must be hearing a lot about nowadays. And the output from BERT is the sentence embedding. That's what's hidden there. That's sentence embeddings. What are embeddings? Embeddings are nothing but just the vectors, such that if we visualize these high-dimensional vectors into a 2D space, the vectors which are similar to each other would be close by, as compared to the vectors which are just further apart. So the top two vectors basically are talking about something related to joy, and then the bottom one is maybe about sadness. That there's a difference in the angle between them. So once we get these embeddings, we then train a neural network model. After training the neural network model, we use this model on the transcripts of the spoken language in our from the data in the cohort, and what we get as the output is the probability distribution over emotions. So we get a probability distribution over all of these 28 emotions for that section. Now, these predefined emotions, we only see anger and sadness. We also have hypothesized about loneliness and stress, but we don't see it here. So we could only measure anger and sadness. Let's quickly look at the results. So the slide says cumulative distribution plots for emotions. So that's how we are representing our results. These are serial plots. The y-axis is the probability, it's the cumulative probability. The x-axis are the scores. And the simplest way to understand is just to look at those dotted lines. Wherever that dotted line hits the x-axis, that's the mean of that group. So in red, I have individuals who had recent suicidal ideation, and in yellow, the ones without. So we see that for anger, the value is a little higher in the ideation group compared to the non-ideation group, and the significance was mentioned by the KSA. We do not see anything significant between the two groups when we look at sadness specifically. Now, what about the other two emotions that we did not check? So this made us use another technique. So the slide says zero-shot text classification. What really happens here is it's not always possible to get the training data for everything that we want to study for. So can we have a mechanism where we have labels that we wish to check against with? So for example, if the text is Dune is the best movie ever, and the candidate labels that we define as cinema, art, and music, if you give this statement to the zero-shot classification model, with 90% confidence, it is telling that this statement talks about cinema, 10% about art, and it does not talk about music at all. So now what really happens inside this black box that I say is zero-shot text classification? We have two statements. One is the premise and the other is the hypothesis. So say the premise, let's look at bottom up in this slide. So the premise says that a field is burning raging slightly. Hypotheses are the different labels against which we want to check this premise with. So we want to see that is this about anger, is this about stress, about loneliness, or about sadness. And for each of these pairs, we get the classes, we get three different classes because the natural language inference model that we use here outputs three different classes. One is the entailment that says how similar these two statements are. One is the contradiction that says if they are different or not. And neutral if they are totally unrelated. So these are basically the classes that the NLI model outputs. So for our purpose, we just need the entailment value, like how similar these two statements are. And we give it to a softmax function that kind of crushes everything between 0 and 1. And we again give a probability distribution like we were getting for emotions. So we get a probability distribution over different emotions. So let's quickly look at the results. We again see anger, that's higher in the ideation group, and we did not see anything with sadness, stress, or loneliness. And the findings with anger are interesting because anger is not a specific characteristic, an obvious characteristic of PHR, but anger related to suicidal ideation could be reflected by aggressive obsession, which is the characteristics of a subset of CHRs. The second goal was to look at the part of speech, or basically measuring the usage of personal pronouns. For that, we did part of speech analysis. What is part of speech analysis? If we have a statement, sentence that says cat is under the table, it is basically labeling each of these words belonging to a specific part of speech type. For example, the word turn here is determiner, cat here is noun. So for measuring the usage of I, we specifically wanted to look at the personal pronoun I, which is PRP number 18 in the list. So these are the results of the usage of personal pronoun. We do see a paradoxical finding here that the ideation group is something less high compared to the non-ideation group. One of the possible reasons here could be that because all of these 10 people who had recent suicidal ideation endorse a passive wish to be dead. And maybe this is not properly captured by just the I sentences in the spoken language. Or also, this could mean that maybe the other group, the ideation group, has some identity disturbance. We also, in an exploratory manner, looked at other parts of speech tags, and modals was the one that came out significant. the less usage of modals. Modals are words like would, could, should. That was less in the ideation group. And with one study, we found that less use of modals is related to less obligation or less possibility, less polishness, etc. That could be the reason where we draw parallels with this website. With this, I want to contribute to my work and give the future direction. So ours is the first known study where we are looking at NLP to characterize suicidal ideation in CHRs. We saw anger as one of the predominant emotions that came out, the decreased usage of I and modals. And with for future work, it's like we and schizophrenia provides a very good opportunity to really study suicidal ideation because it's a larger cohort. And with a larger cohort, we get to work with different languages, we get to work with different cultures. And we would also see how well we can generalize these results. And building on this study, along with the suicidal behavior, will help us in early identification and prevention of suicidal ideation within psychosis and beyond. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much. I can take up any questions and feedback.
Thank you very much for the really first steps in using natural language processing as a really clinical tool. Any questions? Comments? Yes, please.
Thank you for that presentation. Really interesting. I was wondering, is there any issue in examining this defining to like a particular gender and seeing the differences between sexes and yeah.
So we do.
Repeat the question.
Can you please repeat the question?
No, you repeat the question.
Okay. So yeah, so I think if I'm correct, correct me if I'm wrong. So the question is that, is there a way in which we can see other differences in sex when we consider these emotions, like usage of emotions? So yeah, definitely, we did not do that. We corrected all our analysis for sex, but definitely we can do the same analysis, apply the same models in males and females and see how do the usage of emotions. But all of the analysis were corrected first.
Well, thank you very much. It was a great session, I thought.